Hello and welcome to this video about the Ladder of Inference. I want to start with a quote from Aeneas that says, "We don't see things the way they are, we see things the way we are." Let me explain. I want to show you a picture. Now, what do you see in this picture? Most people see a frog sitting on a pond or a lake. And that is because we see the shape and our brain immediately recognizes something familiar and it says, maybe that's a frog. But if you turn your perspective round just by 90 degrees, what do you see then? Many people say that's actually the head of a horse. And this is what the quote means. So, perspective can actually change and shapes all of a sudden can get a different meaning. And this is important when you think about challenging conversations and how you actually enter these challenging conversations. And our brain has the capacity really to show up with strong patterns that help us in life. So our brain is the control center for all these critical patterns, and some really help us to go through important situations, but some actually get in the way when it's challenging. And I want to show you why and what you can do to actually be much more constructive when you're in a challenging situation. So let's look into a day-to-day situation. You may have asked this question a number of times. Why do opinions differ when everyone listens to the same story? Have you been there before? I bet you are. So, and really, when we have a story, we all start with facts, the whole story. It's observable, it's concrete issues, it's an example, whatever. But what we do is then when we hear the story, we come to an opinion. So we really form our opinion. There's something happening in between. We don't need to know in normal situation because it helps us to go through life very quickly and without great energy expenditure. But when you're in challenging situations, you need to understand and see what's happening in between. So on the way from facts to opinions, we actually make interpretations because facts are never complete. And these interpretations help us to really form a full story, a full picture. But the interpretations are very personal, very individual, because they are formed by our inferences, by our assumptions. What I think is happening when I observe the facts or the fragments of all the facts available to actually come to an opinion. And in challenging situations, we need to be aware of our inferences and our interpretations in order to be conscious what kind of opinions we form at the end of the day. And this is the core of the Ladder of Inference. So let me take you through this model of the Ladder of Inferences that helps you to go in a constructive situation, even in a challenging situation. So it starts with facts. I said that before, the observable concrete issues. And with facts, we form interpretations based on our inferences, based on our experiences. And you have to be conscious about that one. And you have different interpretations than other people because they have other experiences. And then we form opinions. So on that way, really, when you go from facts to opinions, really check the interpretations you have, but also the interpretations other people have, because then it's important to see where you actually diverge in the way you see the situation. And that's no surprise that you might get to different opinions. But then also when you form your opinion, the opinions are actually driven by values or standards we uphold in life. Now, values are fairly individual and standards may be fairly individual. So again, there's no surprise that we may get, even with the same facts and interpretations, to different opinions. You have to be aware of that one. And my advice is also to explore the values and standards other people apply when they come to their opinions, in order to understand, show the curiosity, know where they're coming from, in order to follow their train of thought, but also then have a constructive conversation. And only when you're clear on the opinions and your opinion, you then can go to decisions and conclusions, and then actions and recommendations. Along the whole process, a key aspect is actually the mental models. Some of you may have heard of the knower and the learner, or the victim and the player. And the learner, the curiosity of the learner is really key in the application of the ladder of inference. Be curious to understand what facts the others see, what interpretations the others have, what experience they have, what values they have, rather than just insisting that your own values and standards, your assumptions are reality. They're not. They're just your personal part, very important for you. And also that you look for things that could be done rather than blaming others. This is the victim and player mental model. So all this are actually influencing your thinking all along the way. And if you are in a challenging situation, switch off your autopilot and really go consciously, step by step, through the ladder of inference when you have a conversation. I hope this has helped you, and I hope you can apply it in your conversation in the future, and you will get the fruits from conscious behavior and going consciously into conversations. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.